Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I'm your host. And joining me this week is a very special guest from Easy Allies, Mr. Ian Hinck. Ian, how are you doing?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Doing just fine, man. I love your hair. It's looking good.
Oh, thanks.
It's
I
got a lot
just threw
of volume.
headphones on.
Yeah, it's like I just woke up like this with the headphones on. Well, thank you so much for being here this week. I know people have been craving and yelling at me. They're like, get Ian on the show. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to get him on there because people really love you. So I'm really excited. Yeah, man, this is the first time we've had you on the show. We've had like Ben and Kyle, but I think this is good. This is really good. We're going to change it up a bit.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, if anybody's joining us for the very first time, we talk about movies, games, TV shows, pretty much all that stuff that everybody's talking about anyway, but this is one of the greatest places to talk about it. We start off with a little bit of news here, a few hot takes, as it were. First off, Bumblebee trailer. Ian, you just watched it.
Watched it.
How do you feel about that? That's going to be the big blockbuster of Christmas or something.
Yeah. Did it say? It said Christmas. Was it Christmas Day? I didn't even. I don't know. It looks. I have only seen Transformers 1.
Good.
I didn't love it, and I didn't go back to the others. You know, Michael Bay, not generally my taste, but this one looks like it could be kind of like a more dialed in kind of personal story, which I think might actually be a good direction for that to go. Yeah. Instead of giant bombastic like global scale stuff, like make it personal, and it actually has a chance of being more dynamic and interesting, I think.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're definitely right. And it's kind of weird because this one, I think, might be the last Transformers film they make before they're kind of doing like a weird reboot thing. Like there's kind of been rumors that they might kind of team them up with like the G.I. Joes because it's all kind of under the same umbrella. But I know that people were kind of like, oh, you're making a Bumblebee movie. Like, why does he need to be separate from the rest of them? But obviously from the trailer, like I get that emotion too. They do a really good job of kind of conveying that with him, even though he doesn't really have a voice, which is really kind of cool. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll see it. But would you say this might entice you? Like you said, it's more enticing than the other ones, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'd see it either. We'll have to see what Huber says about it, I guess. Like if Huber's like, oh my God, then I'll be like, all right.
I will say I was burned because last year I saw, what was it? What was the last one? Like it was like the last night or whatever. And I paid I had like $5 off and it was like a $6.50 thing. And I still wasted money. I just remember being so angry and just thinking like, they had Anthony Hopkins too and they wasted him. Just kills me. But now John Cena's in this one. So I'm like, okay, I feel like that's better.
Cena seems like he's blowing up right now. They were talking about some other movie he was in that they really liked.
Blockers?
Yeah, Blockers, yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of doing some stuff here and there. Some of those like wrestlers like him, obviously Rock, but like Batista's the kind of the same way. He's kind of getting in other things. I'm like, you know what? Good on you guys.
I'm all about Batista. He's so funny.
Yeah, so good. Obviously, if you guys don't know, we're talking about Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy or, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But
and he was really good in Blade Runner 2049 also.
Oh, I didn't see him in there. Okay, I actually haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't seen it yet. So.
Yeah, it's good. I like.
He was a bad guy in the most recent Bond as well, but he had like weird robotic like thumbnails. It was very strange.
Man, I blocked that out of my mind entirely.
Yeah, Spectre's I
didn't love Spectre.
Yeah, it wasn't super good. I like that they tried to kind of like tie in all the villains together under like one thing, but at the same time, that the end of that movie is very like the villain shows them like around his compound. He's like, and then I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, why?
Right. And then Leah Seydoux is like, I love you, and I'm like, you've known him for like 12 hours, Leah. Yeah.
It's like
I do like her though. I like that actor.
I feel like if you're ever put in the position, unfortunately, of like a Bond girl, they just have to like fall madly in love with him if they've lived for like 2 acts because they usually have to die by the end of the first act. Or
gotta raise those stakes.
Yeah, man, and then you never see them again. Which is pretty great. Well, it's like kind of unfortunate. I love that in Mission Impossible. I don't know how big you are into that franchise.
I love Mission Impossible.
Dude, thank you. Like Ethan Hunt has a wife, and like they've played into that a few times.
Right.
And they kind of
when I saw her in the trailer for full wait, what is it called? The new one?
Fallout. You're very close.
Fallout. Yeah, I was like, Full Throttle's not right. That's
that would be pretty great.
Fallout. When I saw her in the trailer, I was like, whoa, she's in it. She's back. I love it.
Do you have a favorite Mission Impossible? Just kind of tangenting here.
Oh, I mean, they're all good. I really liked Ghost Protocol, actually.
Yes.
obviously 1 is really good, 3 is really good. Uh, my friend James talks about how each one is like a different genre.
Yes.
So like the first one is like a spy movie. The second one is like a John Woo, like crazy, like,
Yep.
you know, Hong Kong action movie sort of. And then like 3 is more of a traditional kind of just action movie. And
Yep.
Ghost Protocol is like a mix of 1 and 3, I guess. But yeah, I like that they have canon and they're sticking with it. Yeah, it's good.
I love it too. I love that they kind of reference back, not even just with his wife, but other events that have happened, especially in Rogue Nation, which was the most recent one that came out.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, yeah, this is what happened when you went to the Kremlin, and this is what happened after you were like leaving the Kremlin. It's like destroyed and stuff. And they're like, you know, sorry, we can't talk about it. It's like, it's pretty good. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I just like to see what my boy Tommy's going to do next. Just something insane. Like, it's always something crazy. I'm like, you're so nuts, but I love it.
He's a very interesting character because he's like, a nutcase, but it's like, I'm there for it.
Oh, yeah, he really buys into it. He's just like, I'll throw myself off this building like as many times as it takes. Yeah, I'm so stoked for that movie. I can't wait. I wish I had some news about that to talk about. I just saw a trailer for it the other day, so I'm just hot on my mind.
It's coming out soon, right? When's it coming out?
End of July.
Oh, okay.
So not the doldrums this summer. I think it's going to strike and not have to deal with anybody, which is probably a smart,
wise move. Yeah.
Yeah, give Ant-Man and Wasp a couple of weeks to breathe, and then just I'm stoked for that. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Also, returning villain, which we haven't seen before in Mission Impossible, which is really
cool. Who's the returning villain?
So this bad guy, I think his name was Solomon Lane. He was in the Rogue Nation. He's this MI6 agent who's gone bad, and
I need to see Rogue Nation again. I've only seen it like once.
Dude, you should watch it. It's very good. I like Ghost Protocol might be my favorite, but Rogue Nation's like really close.
I really like Ghost Protocol a lot.
Ghost Protocol is super. Like Brad Bird as a director, like that, Incredibles, anything he's done with Simpsons. I'm like, you're just like so good. Like that movie. My favorite thing about that movie is like everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Like every piece of tech they have breaks, and I just love it because they still work through it. You're like,
and when he like goes out the window is just insane.
Oh my gosh, one of the greatest sequences I have ever seen in a film. Like. And the fact that he's out there, I'm like, just the insurance agent
doing it for real. And Leah Seydoux in that one too.
Oh, she is. Who is she?
She's the like foreign assassin.
She's the assassin. Okay, yep, the one that. Yep, I was just thinking. Oh yeah, that's who it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, they've got a pretty good cast. I also love that Simon Pegg comes into his own in that one too. Like 3, he's kind of there for a little bit, but then 4, it's like.
It's kind of just like a joke in 3.
Yep, and then 4 and 5, he's just like in the mix. It's like, oh man, can't wait for it. 6. I don't know if they'll stop with 6. I mean, they got Henry Cavill now, which they'll probably kill him. But I was like, hey, it's Superman. Good for him. He's gonna punch some people. Next bit of news, we're going to switch it up here for movies for just a second to talk about Destiny 2 expansion. I don't really need to get super into it too much, but I know that you're a fan of Destiny 2. Like, you like it.
Yeah, I mean, I played it when it came out. I haven't played any of the expansions. I haven't bought any of that because it didn't seem good.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Did you play through the raid?
No, the original raid?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did do that. Okay. That's the only Destiny raid I've completed all the way. We did Vault of Glass and like a few of the other ones and made it like to the boss, but then we're like too low level or something to win. And yeah, but this one we finished.
Okay.
On a stream actually. Now that I recall,
I think that you were part of that. I didn't know if you were part of that group.
Yeah, I was in there. Yeah, we streamed it. Yeah.
I wanted to beat that with my buddies, but they kind of introduced some brand new mechanics in the raid, and it's like kind of difficult unless you try again and again. And we're just getting to that point where we're waiting to either be guided through it or waiting to guide other people through it because the setup was really weird. Like we couldn't just go attempt it ourselves. So we were just like, even though the raid area was so cool, it's like, wow, this is amazing. But it sounds like they're kind of reboot Destiny 2 in a big way with like new mode, new area, new supers, bow and arrow, like
bow and arrows,
all that stuff, which I love a bow and arrow. I really do. But I don't know. Is it enough to get you back in? Are you interested?
I watched the video with Huber just the other day, and like I was all in. I was like, yes, I'm gonna have to jump back into Destiny. Like this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool. But then I found out it was $40, and I was kind of like, like $100 for, I mean, but on the other hand, like if you look at it as like a game as a service, like an MMO, like, you know, I mean, World of Warcraft is like $100 and whatever a year. So it's like, okay, well, so I'll probably grab it. Like whatever. It looks like they're changing enough stuff that it'd be worth it to look at again. but I'm not getting the other expansions.
Yeah, I'm not either. I kind of heard that a lot of people said that they could blow through that stuff pretty quickly, and I think with an expansion for like that, if you're paying that price, like it's kind of like I want to know I'm getting a lot for my money. So
probably, actually, yeah. Now that you say that, probably what I'll do is wait a day or two,
yeah.
see what the initial buzz is, if people hate it or not.
Yeah, I don't want anyone. That's one of my main goals here is to not only entertain but to educate. And one of the things, like, if you can not waste your money on something, that's what I really want to help. I'm like, please don't waste your money. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, I think if my buddies were really interested and they really wanted to hop back in, after watching the video was pretty excited. Like the people behind it seem excited, which is nice because for so long it seemed like it's just, yep, Destiny 2 is coming and here's what we're doing. And there wasn't a lot of excitement. And there's like at least new enemies and other things that people have been saying, hey, we need this, or allow me to change all this other stuff, how I bring my loadouts. Like they're like, you can carry 3 shotguns now if you want to. And I was like, okay, it's dumb. Cool. Yeah, I'm like, that's great. That's, not that you'd want that, but they allow you to do that. I'm like, that's good. Good for them. So I don't know. Slightly interested. It's coming out at a weird time of the year, though. It's coming out, I think, like September 4th, which there's some pretty big, specifically for me, Sony exclusives. You got Dragon Quest 11 and Spider-Man, which are coming out. I'm like, I guess maybe I could have that to play with my friends. But still, Destiny feels good to play. It's just a fun game to play. It just, I hope this is the kick that it needs, like, to take off. And there's been rumors that they kind of have gotten money. Bungie has for like $100 million to work on another game too. Yeah, maybe that's like why Destiny 2 kind of didn't like make a big splash, because I think like last week or 2 weeks ago I was saying like we should be talking about Destiny 2. It should still be a big deal, but it's kind of like even at GOTY time it was like,
it's like it's dangerously close to being a joke almost. Yes. Like people are mad at Destiny, it seems like. I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, this looks like it could be another Taken King kind of situation where it really breathes life back into the game. So hopefully it's good. I really hope so.
My hope is that with Destiny 3, they just look at these first 2 games, figure out what the expansion for Destiny 3 is, wait like 2 or 3 years, and then just send that out all together. So it's like, you get it? It's like such a long game. You're like, wow, it was like a 60-hour campaign. And you're like, man, like they just waited.
Well, I mean, that's what people hoped Destiny 2 would be, right? Like, like Destiny 2 should have picked up and improved upon where Destiny 1 left off, whereas it kind of just like started somewhere down in the middle again, and it was like, okay, well, it'll be good eventually, maybe.
Yeah, kind of added like a few new supers or whatever, and it's like how much has really changed. It's like, which is unfortunate because I really do like the series, but again, I have no idea what the story is. Like, if you ask me anything about the campaign, I know a little bit about the light, kind of like the story was a little bit better. But
like the Traveler and the Stranger and the guns and Fallen.
I feel like they like made it too complex and hard to get to that information. Whereas with Halo, it was like you're a Spartan, which is like a superhuman fighting aliens.
Right.
Like, you're like, okay, like I can get that. That makes sense to me. So Destiny 2. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I hope it's good. I hope it's really good. Yeah. Last thing I want to talk about before we get into the main topic of the show today. A little bit of news. Sounds like the Jared Leto standalone Joker film is happening. They're moving forward with it. Everybody's favorite Joker from Suicide Squad, which actually I did like him. I thought it was just a different take, and I know a lot of people kind of rubbed him the wrong way, but he kind of went the opposite direction than Heath Ledger, which I think you kind of have to do. But does that excite you or interest you at all, being especially a Blade Runner fan, because he was in that, wasn't
he? He's definitely like a creepazoid. But like, I mean, probably I'll see it. I mean, Suicide Squad was a train wreck, and I mean, I think Wonder Woman is the only one of the new DC Universe movies that I've really liked at all.
Yeah. I hear you.
And even that wasn't without its issues, but like, I don't know. My philosophy with this kind of stuff is like, generally I'll go see it. Like, whatever, and like if it's terrible, I'll talk about it. But if it's like fine and it's just like, okay. And I mean, I like the Joker as a character. So like, for me, any amount of Joker is fun. Whether or not I think that like this portrayal of it is my favorite, it's still like Joker's a rad character. So it's like, hey, I'll show up. I'll show up for the Joker.
Definitely.
I don't know.
Okay,
which I
cool.
guess is what they're banking on.
Yeah, I think they're banking on that. And they're also banking on a lot of people going to see Margot Robbie if they're doing that kind of Gotham City Sirens thing as
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
standalone. But she might be doing her own standalone, and they might be making the 1980s gangster Joker movie that's not this, and it might be a completely different Joker. It's like, I don't know what DC's doing. They're just like, we're just gonna keep throwing
Yeah.
darts at the board. Hopefully something hits, and it's like
Yeah,
Wonder
because aren't
Woman
they
hit.
making a Joker origin story movie? Is that the Leto one or is that different?
I think from before it was different, and I don't know if they would do that now because I don't know how you take this Joker and put him
Right.
back in the 1980s.
Right. Or like have an origin that I would care about with this version of the Joker.
Yeah, like where it's
Also,
like
like
getting
I
tattoos.
don't, I don't want them to do an origin of the Joker, or if they do, I want it to be very nebulous, like Killing Joke, where it's like, is this real or not? Like, because that's the power of the Joker, and the interesting thing about the Joker is that you don't know that
Yeah,
it all could be a lie, like whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's risky.
yeah. No, I
Thin
think you're right.
ice,
Very thin
thin
ice.
ice, DC.
I think just origin stories in general. It sounds like with
Boring.
they're doing like a Spawn reboot, which is kind of interesting to me because Jamie Foxx is going to be in it. But Todd
Oh,
McFarlane, the creator and director of this going forward, he said we are skipping. We're not doing any type of origin story. We're just going to get into it. And I was like,
Good.
I respect it. I'm like, just go. Don't explain anything. Just be like, yep, creepy superhero who's killing people, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, cool.
I think as a society, we're done with origin stories. They're not fun or entertaining for me.
Yeah, I think
We
the
had
last
that
one-
period.
Oh, for sure. Like the last big one was like Doctor Strange, which felt like such a Phase 1 Marvel movie to me when I was watching
Yeah.
it. I could just like pinpoint the parts and be like, oh yeah, he's gonna do this, he's gonna do this, he's
Right.
gonna do this. And it's like we're past that. Like Spider-Man didn't even try to do that. They're like, nope, he's Peter Parker, like he's Spider-Man, go. Like
Spider-Man was great. I mean, well, and what they're doing now in the MC or the Marvel comic universe is that they're couching origin stories for future movies in as a subplot in earlier movies. You know, like we got a little bit of Black Panther origin story in Civil War or whatever, and like that's the way to do it. Like just make it a subplot, give it 2 minutes, and be like, oh, okay, that's Spider-Man, cool. Like, yeah, we don't need to sit through the same Act 1, Act 2 beginning of a thing. Like, yeah, Doctor Strange I liked, but for sure, like the first 45 minutes, you're just like, we know that you're gonna learn the magic. Like, we know that you're gonna.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think kind of skipping that and making them more interesting or ominous, like Black Panther in Civil War, is one of the coolest things. I feel like he's so strong in that movie. I think there's just so many strong performances in Black Panther where he doesn't stand out as much, he doesn't shine as much. But in Civil War, he's just kind of always prowling around. It's like, oh my gosh, who is that guy? I want to know about this
like,
guy.
What's his deal? Yeah,
you're like, this is so cool, and the way they tied him in and everything's like, yeah. I don't know if we're gonna get any more origin stories like that, and like you said, you know, kind of inserting them into other films is an effective way to kind of move it along, so to speak.
If they do the Gotham City Sirens or whatever, the all, I heard Margot Robbie say she wants to do it all female, which I think would be fun. Like, I don't know, they just need to like, I don't know, the DC universe needs to like make a choice and stick with it, like. Or like abandon the choice that they made and stuck to already because it's not working. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and there's a lot of weird stuff specifically with like Justice League where Zack Snyder, you know, left because of family tragedy, but there's also rumor he was going to be fired, and then like Joss Whedon comes in, so Justice League feels a lot like Age of Ultron or just Avengers. If you watch those movies back to back, you might be like, oh, this is like the same thing. So I think maybe that's one of their problems too, is they really need to kind of lock down a bunch of good directors. And I think Patty Jenkins, like if Wonder Woman would have failed, I think they'd be like, all right, we're rebooting the whole thing. But I think because that did well enough, it's like, ooh, we got to do Wonder Woman 2 now, you know?
Yeah.
And
I think the problem that they're in now is like if they tried to do a tonal shift and do something like really zany and fun, like what Suicide Squad really should have been, now they're just going to, like, people are going to say, oh, you're just riding the coattails of Thor Ragnarok and all that. Like, they're kind of like they're always going to be in like oh yeah, us too kind of a, I don't know. It's an unenviable situation. It seems like really hard to pull that plane up from the mountain.
Dude, that was really unenviable. Pull the plane up from the mountain. That's real good, man. I like that a lot.
Because they're gonna smash into it.
Oh, for sure. Well, the fact that Suicide Squad won an Oscar, that just goes to show that I just don't I don't trust those Oscars anymore. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on.
Norbit won an Oscar too, I believe. So who knows?
I don't know. It's some years, man. They're like, what are we gonna do?
Makeup.
You're like, yeah, makeup. Like that Killer Croc looks pretty good, except when he tries to. He tried
Except
to walk like a crocodile.
Super doesn't.
Yeah, I don't. Man, that just. Oh boy, that movie. But yeah, so Jared Leto, you'll go see him as the Joker once again. Is what you're saying.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm not thrilled about like him because there have been some like controversies with him, but like I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't anticipate it being a good movie. So
yeah,
also like his method stuff was like a little too far when he was like sending people weird stuff. I'm like, all right, guy, come on.
Yep, some really weird, bad things. It's like, okay, dude, like especially like if you're Will Smith, like you're like, okay, great, got this. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like also like it's kind of a felony, like assault.
Yeah,
like sending someone like used condoms and stuff is like, all right.
Yeah. I don't. And the thing is, like, I don't know how many Joker comics he read. I haven't really read any Joker comics. I don't remember that being like kind of what his staple. That's almost something that like a toy maker would want to do, like where he'd send like a weird like bauble to someone.
Right,
but
right.
Like, this is like
the Riddler, like sending you a puzzle or something, like weird thing. Like that'd be cool.
Oh, that'd
the
be
Joker
so
doesn't care. To send you anything unless
true.
It's like Batman. He sends Batman stuff a lot, I think.
Sure. Well, if you send somebody like a Jack in the Box that's like really creepy, it might shoot out like little like green fog. That would have been great. And I'm like, oh, you're on board. Okay, we get it.
Actually, now that I think about it, Joker traditionally sends a lot of like gifts, usually filled with like some kind of gas.
Yeah.
Like poison gas, laughing gas. That happens a lot, actually. So I take that back.
I also think the Joker's in the lab a lot, and he's like, "This is going to be great." He's like, "I've made it 20% greener, like the gas."
Yeah.
He's like, yes, I did it. By the way, I still posit Jesse Eisenberg would have been a great Riddler. He should stop being Lex. Just Riddler.
He would have been a good Riddler.
He's
good. He's good when he's playing like smarmy like d-bags like that for sure.
Yeah, or like
characters you're not supposed to like.
Yeah, exactly. Ever since I saw him in Social Network, I just can't not see that every time he plays every character. I'm just like, oh, you're just playing that guy or yourself, you know?
Yeah. Paul Dano would be a good Riddler.
Who's Paul Dano? I feel like I've heard that.
Did you see There Will Be Blood?
A little bit, I think.
He's the preacher kid, like the.
Oh, okay.
He always kind of plays that like squirrely weirdo, or the young that guy from Westworld. I can't say William or whatever from Westworld.
Oh yeah, he'd be a good
Riddler.
Oh dude, yeah, he's got even the body type where it's just kind of this tall, lanky,
thin, like
Yeah.
Although apparently his family wants him to stop playing creepy bad guys, but
probably at this point you're like, oh, you're kind of oh no.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Oh man, yeah, the DC universe. I just don't. We'll see where it goes. Like you said it really well. It needs to really kind of pick a path and get people excited about like Aquaman and Flash and stuff, which is I don't even know where those movies are right now. It's like they're coming apparently.
We shall see.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna stop talking about movies because we could talk about it the whole time. But we are kind of not on the eve of it, but we're close to E3. And I figured this is gonna be great. You're gonna have Ian on here. We could talk a little bit about E3. We're not gonna do E3 predictions. Everybody's doing the predictions. Everybody's got these things going on. We're shifting it up. We're going to talk about the 3 games that are either confirmed or hypothetical that we want to play today. Like we want to play it today. We'll do whatever we can. We want to play it like put the controller in our hand, just like, anyone's calling you on the phone. You throw it out. You're just like, I can't take your call right now. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And obviously I want to hear what you guys like. What are those 3 games for you? Not down in the comments below too. But Ian, you are the guest. Would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I can go first.
What game would you like to play immediately?
Well, I mean, the most obvious one is the Bloodborne 2, whatever From Software, whatever Shadows Die Twice is. I want to play that. Like, I want to know what it is. I want to be playing it right now.
For people who don't know you and know that you're a card-carrying member of the Bloodborne fan club.
Sure.
What is it about Bloodborne that makes you so just like fevered, like you want to play it?
I love gothic horror, like cosmic gothic horror stuff. It's like one of my favorite genres, time periods, whatever. I just really love it. I think everything about that game, they took all the things, the pedigree of Souls, and dialed it into like 11, you know. And I prefer playing the fast weapons, not blocking, more dodging, that kind of style. So just like the entire style of Bloodborne is like how I wanted to be playing Dark Souls 1 and 2 and 3 anyway. And they made it easier to play like that in Dark Souls 2 and 3, but I mean, Bloodborne is just like you have to be aggressive and crazy to make it work, which I really, really love. And just everything about it, I love it. The lore, the layered secrets, the exploration, the music, the enemy design, everything about it is just perfect. So hopefully, I mean, I trust From Software to bring out quality stuff. So whatever they're bringing out, it's going to be great. But I would be pretty into a Bloodborne 2. I mean, I think that a Bloodborne 2 set in like the feudal or like the Japan side of that same world, you know, would be really cool.
Yeah.
Like it's maybe takes place at the same time as Bloodborne 1 or like, you know, within that time period and it's just in Japan. Like that'd be really neat.
Sure.
I think whatever it is, it'll be rad.
I wonder if they did that though, if there'd be too many kind of like Neo comparisons. I'm not saying that, you know, that's just not that they couldn't do that. It's just that and Ghost of Tsushima's coming out and it's kind of maybe like a weird market to try to tackle right now. Whereas no one's going to say like, it's like Assassin's Creed's like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to head on over to Gothic horror. Like, okay. And Ian's like, and for that reason, I'm playing that game.
I'm playing that. No, yeah, I agree. The only reason I think feudal Japan is because I've heard those rumors and like based on the background of the one teaser trailer that we've seen in Shadows Die Twice, like it seems to support those rumors. So who knows? Like honestly, like I'd probably prefer it to be somewhere else, like that's less explored. Because I played Neo. I'm gonna play Ghost of Tsushima. Like it's been done, you know. So like I would prefer it to be in like Ireland, but like whatever, you know.
Did you beat Neo by the way?
I didn't beat it actually. I got pretty close. I got a little discouraged just because everyone was saying that like they were like, you've basically seen it. Like the rest is more of the same.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, all right, well, that's a drag. But now they added all kinds of stuff where like you could play as like glamour yourself as other characters, and there's that DLC that I didn't try out. I think there's a DLC, but I like Neo a lot. I just hadn't finished it.
Nice. Well, I'll be completely honest with you. I'm really happy that, you know, so many people are excited about Bloodborne. I had to like legitimately force myself to beat Bloodborne. Like I just I dreaded playing that game because it like stressed me out so much and I'd get so angry. Yeah. I will never forget beating Father Gascoigne though, and saying like, I'm coming after your daughter next. And people were like, well, Jimmy, his daughter's like part of the law. I'm like, I don't care. Where is she? I'm like, you know, I was so happy.
She's a child.
I'm like, it doesn't even matter. I just hated her so much. I hated him so much, but that game obviously is going to stick with me. And I'm excited that you're excited about it. I think like you like the lore of it a lot. And for me, I didn't want to explore because again, I was like terrified. Not because like things would like pop out and scare me. I was just like, I don't want to lose my souls or my blood echoes. Yeah. So I was like, I gotta run back and just farm it. Yeah. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I'm really happy people are excited about it. And it seems like it's taken off in a big way. It seems like the Souls series has become much more beloved to many people. And I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, Bloodborne 2 or like you said, it could be set in feudal Japan or something like that. I know on their Twitter the other day, they just put the number 7, I guess, on their official Twitter account. Yeah, for Bloodborne is like 7. I think that's what I could be wrong. I looked at, I was like, I think this looks legitimate, but who knows? Who knows? But I hope for you, because if it happens, I'm just gonna be like, this is for Ian. There you go, buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll just pass out. It'll be fine.
It'll be Project Beast all over again or whatever. Yeah. Cool, man. All right. So that's the first thing, the first game you want to just like get in your hands and start playing right away. Yeah. Well, to kind of echo that, for me personally, I really, really want to play Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Like, I like Sucker Punch, but there's always been kind of a weirdness in Control just because of the characters you actually get to run around with. There's a little bit of floatiness, and there's always seemed to be a lack of kind of that visceral nature. But from like the maybe, if it even is gameplay in the cinematic trailer that they kind of showed off already, It looks like it's gameplay. It seems kind of Assassin's Creed-ish, but it might be like you could play as a ninja, play as a samurai, play as both. I don't know if they'd put something like a For Honor style melee combat in this game. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be a dichotomy of two things?
In Ghost of Tsushima? Yeah, our theory the other day looking at the trailer is like maybe you can play as a samurai or a ninja or like any other thing. I do think it'll be mostly melee. Yeah, like katanas for sure. I mean, I assume there'll be bow and arrow in there. Right now, our assumption is like no supernatural stuff, like that it'll be straight, which I think will be cool because like you don't get a lot of games like that just stay totally realistic, you know? And I think it could be pretty cool. I don't know.
I wonder if they do dip their toe in it at all. I know Rise Son of Rome was kind of like it wanted to be kind of realistic or whatever, but it had like the gods in it just a little bit. So I don't know if they would try to touch on that like a fantastical element, but it would be nice because it seems like it is steeped in history, kind of talking about this group that was holding off the Mongol horde.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's really cool. And I don't know if you watched Marco Polo on Netflix. I think there's like 2 seasons of it. It's a pretty good show, so I know a little bit about like the Mongols and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, this is like kind of cool. I'm like, it's pretty good. But I'm really excited about the prospect of that game because Sucker Punch, you know, what they've done, the Infamous series they know really well for, Sly Cooper, I believe.
Yeah.
And there's another big one I can't think of right now.
I'm bad at this.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Knowing who did what.
Don't make up for you have to make up for my faults. But yeah, I'm really excited about Ghost of Tsushima. I hope it's really cool. I don't know like if they'll put in RPG elements. I'm a sucker for that stupid stuff. I like getting skill trees, and especially if you're gonna have, you know, if you're gonna do like the shinobi versus like the samurai, you could kind of play with that a little bit more and maybe determine how you do combat. But I'm really hopeful, and I would like to see a cool new melee combat system. It doesn't have to necessarily be For Honor, but that's the one that sprung to mind immediately. Like, oh, you know, kind of like where blocking is a thing, as opposed to just fully attacking all the time.
Yeah, I wonder how they'll do it. Like that's always the thing, right? Is like the combat has to be good, has to feel good, has to feel realistic.
Yeah, totally. And that's oh man. Plus, there's so many things you can do with a shinobi, and I know a lot of people talk about. Is it Tenshu or Onimusha or one of those older games? I forget which one is like the samurai or kind of ninja-ish one, but I know people have craved feudal Japan, and Assassin's Creed has not tapped it yet. And I'm so surprised that they haven't. Well, it's like, oh, you guys haven't gone for that yet? So they'll get there eventually, but I think that this could be a really cool game. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Ghost of Tsushima? Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I think it'll be super cool. I assume we're going to see a bunch of it in a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so.
Yeah, I hope we see like gameplay or a demo or something. I think it'd be really cool.
Well, we have to at this point, after what Sony said about the whole, like, they're doing deep dives, and that's one of them. And then at PSX, they kind of did some stuff, but they kind of were just talking about how, like, a newspaper almost leaked their information, but nobody saw that newspaper clipping or whatever. And it's just like, show me, I was like, just give me anything. Give me one little nugget to chew on here. And it's just like, we'll talk more at E3. And it's like, oh, gosh, all right. Let's just keep going. It's like,
I think they dialed back on that PSX quite a bit to make E3 better. So who knows?
I hope that's true, because I will never forget just Sean Layden just like, finish the game, Corey. He couldn't, he's right here with you right now. He's on the couch. I don't know what you expect from him. And then he makes like one of the, like the PS4's best-selling game of all time. It's just like, Sean Layden's just like, I'm just going to chastise you the whole time. It's like, that whole bit, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a bit, but yeah, it definitely was a little bit like, okay.
Like 3 or 4 times over. And there's like the guy from Guerrilla Games who made Horizon. He's like, well, I'm not sure what Corey. It's like those two guys should have talked about like making like big open worlds set in kind of like a wintry place. Like that could have gone on for like an hour for just the two of them. But they got the lady from Dreams out there who should be like back working on her game. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, I'm stoked for it. I can't wait to see it. I think of the 4 games that Sony is going to talk about a lot, that's the one I'm most excited about, because Spider-Man, as much fun as I think it's going to be, I kind of know what Spider-Man is by now. It's not like, what is it going to be? You know, it's not like first-person Spider-Man or something. But
I mean, like, Spider-Man just is like, does it feel good to swing around and shoot webs at guys?
Yep.
Yes or no?
Yeah, exactly. If you check no, then like you gotta go. But there's like that. Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, which is like I think you even said it's like hypothetical at this point, so I don't really, I just don't even care. And then there's one more. I always forget. There's 4. I always forget the last one is. I'm sorry, Sony.
What is it?
There's something else. They're like, we're talking about these 4 games.
Yeah, I don't remember right now either. I'm blanking.
Yeah, whatever it is,
though.
I'm sure it'll be cool. Oh, Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, right.
Which again, like Spider-Man, we know kind of going into it. It's not like they're gonna
get it.
They're gonna be like, it's an RTS now, everybody.
I'd play that. That'd be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. So they're like, all right, zoom in for some dramatic tension, and you're like, no,
so many people would be like really irritated by that.
I think it'd be hilarious. I say go for it, Naughty Dog. Try something out. Yeah. So Ghost of Tsushima. All right, second game for you, my friend. What's it gonna be?
Actually, my second one, Dreams.
Oh, we actually have someone who commented about that one because they said they're excited to see what you make in Dreams.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see what I make in Dreams. I'm excited to see what you can do with Dreams. Dreams, one of those games where when they first unveiled it, I was like, this is hideous and terrifying. What is going on? Like, I'm scared to look at this claymation nightmare. But now, especially having seen that insanely robust music production environment that they have on there, I'm just like, whoa, like if that's the granularity just for that like side thing, how much detail and insanity can you get into in this game? It's like kind of unbelievable. And I mean, I hope that it doesn't pull like a No Man's Sky or a Sea of Thieves or something and just totally underwhelm when it comes out. But like, I don't know. They've been working on it for so long that, man, I'm really hoping it's solid as a rock when it comes out. And like, just you can do whatever you want. Because yeah, we're going to get lots of content out of that.
Oh, for sure. And I think that unlike Sea of Thieves or No Man's Sky, this game hasn't been propped up the same way. Where it was like, this is going to be a system seller. It's like, nope, it's still coming, but it's like, it's going to be good. Promise. It's just going to take a while.
It feels like they understand that they've got a niche appeal with this guy. They're like, hey, if you like, you know, spending 7 hours to make a little level for your friends to play, have we got the game for you? You know?
Totally. Well, like
Don is going to lose his marbles.
Oh, for sure. Like, I really want to play the like levels that you and Don make. Maybe Brandon, if he makes something.
Oh, Brandon's going to make levels like crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of intimidating because, like, I wonder at like this point specifically with Dreams, it's getting closer and closer to like, is this even a game anymore? Are they just giving us dev kits and they're like, make a game, and they're like, all right, we gotta poach some talent here, you know? Like, but I think it's really cool, and I think it's amazing.
Try out.
Yeah, I would love that. You just get a call. Sean Lane's like, I just can't stop playing your levels. Really
love your level.
He's just sitting there. He's got hands free because he's doing this.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Dreams though, I'm excited about it. I'm intimidated though by it. And the last game that I played that was close to this would be Disney Infinity, which isn't, you know, the same caliber, but another kind of create game where you kind of can make your own levels and stuff. But I really enjoyed playing through that. But this is just like every minute detail you can really mess with, and just every little thing. And I could take stuff that you've made and then tweak it, or you could take stuff that I've made and you can tweak it.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty impressive. And I think that's finally, we're getting that create game, kind of that Little Big Planet, you know, which they're known for, but just the next step, which is great.
And I really like Tearaway, but like the, which I think was them, the crazy thing too is like you were saying, if you make a little guy that is programmed to do XYZ, like walk over here, do whatever, if I'm understanding correctly, like that individual asset gets uploaded too with like the programming that you did to it, and anybody can use it. It's like crazy. It's gonna be really cool. I don't know, it's gonna be really cool.
So basically I can finally make any game I want, which is probably going to be a Deathstroke video game, which I keep asking for, but Rocksteady won't make it. Like, which I don't know if you know Deathstroke at all, but he's basically, he is what I try to inform as many people as I can. Yeah. So before Deadpool, there was Deathstroke, and Deadpool is a complete ripoff of him. Even in the name, Deathstroke is Slade Wilson, Deadpool is Wade Wilson. I'm going to talk about Deadpool later, so don't worry about it. It all ties together. But I'll make my Deathstroke video game that they were going to make, but I don't think they're going to make a Suicide Squad game after Arkham Origins, and he was going to be in it, and it's just like, that was a different group than Rocksteady was. It was like, I don't know what happened to that, but Yeah.
Weird.
So, but anyway, we can make any game we want now, is what you're
Yeah,
saying. So, all
do
right.
it. I
That's
wonder how they're gonna handle that. Like if someone does make a character that's a copyrighted character, and then
yeah.
they're uploading it and disseminating that, it's like, what's the like? Do they have a waiver where it's just like, don't make copyrighted stuff, or like, I don't know.
I wonder too how they're going to monetize this game going forward. If it's just going to be like, oh, we're adding new packs of things, but you could have created them yourself, but we just
Oh.
like, you know what I mean?
I
Like, I
wouldn't
don't
be
know.
mad at that, I guess. Like if it's there, it's just a time saver to like buy it. Like that's like a less crappy way to do it, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they did like costumes for Sackboy, which were like copyrighted things that they like
Yeah,
partnered
yeah,
with people.
yeah.
Did they do like a Marvel one or something? I think
That
there's something like that.
sounds likely.
So yeah, I could
Yeah.
definitely see that going forward. So you're like, oh, I don't have to make Thor. They just gave me the Thor costume, and I can
Right.
throw
Right.
the hammer, lightning. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, Dreams. You want to play that? That's your itching to play it, eh?
Itching.
Hey, I love it. Next one coming up from me. We're talking about Destiny, and I'm going to take the kind of flip-flop version of it, and I'm really hopeful, but also very cautious about it. Anthem.
Ah.
EA does this almost every year where they show me something where I get really excited. But the last couple of years, it's been Star Wars documentaries or dev diaries that I hate, and I will lose my mind if I see another one, especially if it's my boys at Respawn, because those guys deserve better, and to not have their games be cannibalized in sales. Like it just makes me so angry. Anyway, I really hope Anthem's good. I've always wanted to fly around with my friends, like just cause. I only play it like on Xbox or whatever, but I know on PC you can play with friends. But flying around in that game is so cathartic. I remember recently, a couple months ago, I just flew for 20 minutes just because I could, and you don't really get to do that in many games or glide. But Anthem, I could do that. I can fly around with my buddies. We can go and fight big monsters. It's kind of like Monster Hunter World, hopefully, but like in Iron Man suits. Like that's the dream. I don't know if that's going to be the implementation, but I really hope so. And after the success of Monster Hunter World, I hope Anthem is looking at that and saying, "Hey, there's a few things in there that we could use." You know, because it's like, do you know where I'm coming from in all of this? Do you have any hype for that game?
Yeah, I'm hyped for it. Yeah, I think that it'll be, I mean, because it's BioWare, right? So it's like.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how much it'll be like older BioWare games. Like, will it be Mass Effect by way of Destiny, or will it be, you know, just kind of Destiny by way of Monster Hunter? Like, will it have a character-based story, or will you make your own character, or like whatever? Like, I don't know, but like, I'm very curious about Anthem. I think it has the potential to just feel like a ripoff, or I think it could really be some huge new thing. I mean, I hope for their sake that it takes off, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it also got delayed, and they're talking about like making story a very big focus of this, and a lot of people have theorized that's why Mass Effect Andromeda kind of suffered, you know, in certain departments because they put all their assets into Anthem. So I'm really hoping, you know, it would be nice. Like the dream, I think, for a lot of people is to have a story like Mass Effect 1 or 2, Monster Hunter World, kind of like open world hunting monsters with your buddies, and then kind of like maybe the Destiny loot grind if that's what you're into. I don't know. So I'm interested though, but it's a gorgeous looking game. I just remember that kind of last year being the one thing that really stuck with me, just kind of looking at that, just like, wow, it's so like, it looks so good. We're finally getting to that point in these consoles where it's like kind of pushing that limit, like finally, where it's like, okay, here we go. This is what we're capable of.
Well,
so
all the foliage and like, and the colors that they're using, I really like the way the suits and the trees and everything go together. It's it's a very lush looking game. I like it a lot.
And the fire from the explosions of that kind of mortar shots, like, oh man, it looks like gorgeous. So I'm really hopeful, and I'm a big fan of co-op third person stuff. Like I really like Ghost Recon Wildlands, but it's because I was with my buddies. There's so much just like nothing in that game, and you just like, all right, we have to find a jeep or a helicopter to traverse it. At least now you could just be like, oh, we should go over there, you know, fly off. Like that's so cool to me. I'm like, that is like, oh, I love that. And I love the idea of having different suits with different powers. Like you couldn't just have like your one suit that you just upgrade till it has every gun on it possible, like a war machine or something. You're like, oh no, you have specialized things. You maybe can't fly as high or as fast or run as quickly, or maybe you can run faster, you know, if you like that sort of kind of fast play style. I hope they have some melee weapons. They better have a freaking sword or a hammer or something. Like, come on.
That'd be good.
Yeah, man.
I prefer melee myself.
Oh, dude, up close and personal, it's always better, baby. Oh,
Plus,
it's so good.
I can't aim, so.
Oh, that's not true. Well, I mean, well, in Destiny, what do? You can do
I
it.
actually in Destiny I like scout rifles, and in Vermintide I'm like weirdly good with the bow, with
Dang, okay.
Carillion. So it's like I don't know, maybe they just did it in a way that I understand. But
What are you playing? Are you playing that on PC?
PC, yeah,
Okay. I really want to play that game, but I only want to play it if I know someone who else is going to play. Because like other people are like, I'm kind of interested. And I'm like, I'm really interested. But
it's very good.
well, the first one was a lot of fun, and I just
Yeah,
remember playing with my friend, and I kind of burned out on it. And then this next one came up, and I was like, oh, this one looks pretty sweet too. I always loved the Inquisitor. I think it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
I really like the guy who's just like grabbing pistols, dropping them, grabs two new ones. I'm like, yeah, that's my kind of thing. I like that a lot. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
never played the first one, but I own it somehow. I don't know how I must have gotten it somehow. But like yeah, I love Vermintide 2. I love it.
well, if you're ever bored and you're looking for a second, third, or fourth, you just let me know. I'd be happy
Absolutely.
to.
Yeah, pick it up.
That melee. I love that like Left 4 Dead 2 got into melee, and then they're like, we're not making a 3, and then Vermintide's like, we'll do it.
We'll
Like
do it.
10 years later
Yeah.
or whatever it is. Just like, yeah, we'll jump
Like,
into it. I'm like,
we'll exactly just do that, but with rats.
yeah,
It's like,
exactly. And then like now they've
sure.
got the new those like the chaos too, which I was like, oh cool, they have
Yeah.
different enemies.
The
That's cool.
Northlanders or whatever.
Yeah, because like it is like a legit like copy almost of like the Left 4 Dead 2 stuff, like down to the special characters. You're like, oh, there's like the one that pins you and like just
Yeah,
like
the
stabs
hook
you,
rat, like the
all that stuff.
assassin, like yeah, it's all in there.
Which is like
I
that's
don't-
totally fine.
Do they have a guy that explodes if he gets near you?
Oh, I don't know if they do
I
have
don't think
that one.
they do. I don't think they have a boomer.
Maybe
or
they replaced it
whatever.
with that
They've
was it
got
the
different
runner?
flamethrower ones.
Yeah, they got the guy
And
with like the Gatling gun who's just gonna
yeah,
shoot you down. But yeah, they don't have the explosive. They throw. I think they
there's
throw the
the
globadiers.
gas ones. Yeah, yeah, and then there's a warg fire thrower and then a Gatling gun. So it's like yeah, there's a lot of different. It's great.
Yeah, and they're intelligent enemies too. Unlike the zombies that just kind of run at you, like a lot of they will do that, like the regulars, but like the
Right.
special ones will be smarter, and
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah. Oh, dude, now I want to play Vermintide 2 with you. That'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's great.
So do you specialize in mostly the archer? The
I've only
Elven
ever
archer?
played Carillion.
Okay, fair
I'm
enough.
like level like 28 with Carillion and 1 with everybody else.
That's okay. That's cool.
I found what I liked.
Dude, that's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I like the Inquisitor, but I also like the Bright Wizard from the first game. I don't know if she's back, but the whole like
There, cool.
yeah, there was like a fun system where it's like if you use your spells too much, you'll explode and be caught on fire. And
That definitely still happens.
good. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Anyway, but Anthem. I'm really excited about Anthem. I really hope it's good. I hope EA has a big showing of it. I kind of wish EA would have done what Sony did and just said like, hey, you know what? This year, here it is, guys. We're gonna talk about FIFA, Madden, Anthem, and one other big thing, and that's gonna be it. Like I would love to go in just knowing that they're actually gonna show stuff and just like say, you know what, the Respawn Star Wars stuff, don't even worry about it. Because if I see one more dev diary, I'm gonna lose it. I am legit gonna lose it.
Oh man.
It's gonna be like the whole soccer presentation. I want to step away from that, and I shouldn't because it's Star Wars, the biggest IP on the planet that prints money. And they're just like, it is a true honor to go over to the Lucasfilm Ranch.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, like Skywalker Ranch.
And
Like,
talk to this character designer for 28 minutes.
and they're like, oh, let's see a TIE fighter on a monitor. The guy's like smiling. He's just like typing away. And you're like,
Yeah.
you're killing me.
Yeah. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I'm hoping Disney after that kind of that 10-year thing goes down, that they're just kind of like everyone gets Star Wars, like everybody should get a shot, because I think that would be sick. Like give Rocksteady a shot, man. That'd be great. But yeah, Anthem. I love it. I'm excited. All right. Last game. The third one.
You kind of mentioned it before, but I don't know. It's the mood I'm in right now. I would want to lay on my couch and play Death Stranding. I want to know what the hell is going on. Like, is it a game? We were talking about the other day, like, it'd be crazy if they shadow dropped during E3 a Netflix series, like, based on the game. Like, that's a tie-in prequel or something. Like, I would binge that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious. I love Guillermo del Toro. I like Norman Reedus. I like Kojima. Like, I want to see what these wackos are up to. And like we rewatched trailer 3 the other day and yesterday, and it was just like, oh man, it's so out there. I want to go to there. I want to go to there and see what the hell is going on with these shadowy mist guys in the mist. I don't know. It looks awesome.
What do you think the gameplay will be? I know it's a question we get here once in a while.
I mean, we were talking about that the other day. Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of sneaking around. I was saying that I think it'd be crazy if you have to, like, it's espionage, but not only in our reality, but in like weird like realities that are also bleeding in, because like these other like weird creatures are there, and it seems like they need those baby powered sensors to like see where they are or whatever, and you can only see them sometimes. They phase in and out, and like footprints on the ground and stuff. So I was thinking it'd be nuts if you have to not only like stealth around soldiers, but you also have to stealth around these like crazy like ghost like entities in a different like out of phase with our reality, you know? So you're like managing that. Like, I don't know if you have like, you're slipping your vision between two realities or like what, but I think that would be nuts. I'm hoping there's not a whole lot of shooting, but I bet there will be. Or it would be really cool if your guys are like, you only ever have a pistol because you're like scientists, and like you've got a pistol to protect yourself if you really need it, or shoot yourself in the head if you're starting to get taken, because that's what they were doing in that trailer. But like really your main goal is to like figure this out, like patch it up, whatever you're trying to do on the run. I don't know. Maybe you stole that baby and you're on the run. I don't. The possibilities are endless. So who knows?
Fair enough. I'm glad that people are excited about it. There's a lot of love for Kojima, and I kind of missed a lot of that. I'm actually playing through 5 right now because it was like a free game with gold. And thankfully, there's never 30 seconds that go by without telling me who made the game and created the game and who wrote the game. And it's like,
he's definitely, I think, probably a megalomaniac. Who knows?
No, I think so. He should make movies. I really think, because like that's my biggest problem with some of the stuff that he's done. Yeah. Is that it like
40-hour or 40-minute cutscenes?
That's what Death Stranding I think is going to be. I think it's going to be like a 8-hour movie with like 20 minutes of gameplay.
Right. I mean, that's a huge possibility. Like, yeah. I'm like, I know I was sounding very into it. I'm like hugely skeptical too about Death Stranding. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm just curious.
Well, maybe he and like David Cage should get together and they can make like a crazy game that's like got better gameplay, but it's like also a movie at the same time. But yeah,
I think those two would tear each other apart.
I would just like to see that creation.
Yeah.
They could synthesize. I'd be really interested.
The game would never come out, but the documentary that came out of it, like filming them trying to make a game together, would be hilarious.
Oh my gosh. And the best thing would be like that documentary was directed by Kojima, where it's like he stopped working on the game halfway through and he's like, I'm just going to direct this. And he's just like following people around. He's just it's like, okay, all right. We're just going to hold on this first for like 18 minutes and not say a thing. He's like, okay. Yeah. Well, no, I want to see it though. And I think that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen or given like a style of gameplay. Because I think if you call it a third person shooter, it takes away from that mystique. You know, where it's kind of like, oh, okay, then we know what it's going to be. So I would like to see it.
The hope is that it's because, you know, you can be trippy and crazy and weird in your 8-minute trailers, but like if you can do a scene where you're walking through and it feels that bonkers and like you're controlling it and running from it and dodging around stuff and it's fun and active and crazy, but also still that weird, like then that's a success, I think. Yeah. I mean, another worry is that it's just going to be a weirder Metal Gear Solid, and like that wouldn't be bad. Obviously, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but like I want to see Kojima branch out. Like I was jazzed for his PT Silent Hills because like, I mean, I think it might have been too scary for me, but like, it definitely would have been out there. Like that concept trailer where the door flies across the thing and then like opens and there's a hallway that wasn't there a second ago. Like that kind of stuff I love. And games can do that where you're like walking in a circle and the room keeps changing. Like that, I want to see that kind of shenanigans out of Death Stranding like all the time. Just like things that you can experience in a game, that morphing landscapes and changing perceptions and like, what am I supposed to do right now kind of moments. I think that could happen in really cool ways. So yeah, I don't know.
I feel like he's always kind of been trying to scratch that itch a little bit, even with like Metal Gear, where it's kind of like, hey, there's a flaming gigantic whale eating a helicopter, and it's like,
Right.
okay, tell me more. Like I get it. Like, you know, if I hadn't seen this a long time ago, I would have been like, oh, all right, okay. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Meta stuff like you have to have a microphone for this to work, or like plug your controller into the other port, you know, so you won't read your mind, like that kind of weird stuff too. Like we'll see. Maybe at some point you'll have to like call Death Stranding on the phone in real life to like progress.
That's the DLC, is they force you to buy that little thing he has, like the little baby indicator, and they're like, it'll be just like $29.99, but you need it for the last 25 minutes of the game. Like you need to have it.
You need it.
Like,
you need trust us.
You're gonna want to have it, and then you're never gonna want to take it off. It's good because it's waterproof. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I'm hopeful. I hope it's everything that you want it to be, and I think that we're gonna see actual gameplay, even though they've said they've shown gameplay in these videos. I'm like, just legit show us any type of HUD or something where they're moving around, so I can at least try.
I want Norman Reedus on stage playing it.
Yeah.
And Kojima standing next to him and occasionally just like whispers something into his ear, and then Norman just starts laughing while he's playing, and we just never know what they're laughing about.
I feel like that's like almost too exclusive then, because you're like, well, now I can't play this game without Kojima sitting right. Maybe that's what you get. You get to call on a phone and it's Kojima, and he just tells you something in Japanese, and you're like, I don't know what he said. Like, it's amazing.
But it's important.
It's very important. It's like I have to turn the game off and turn it back on 3 times in a row. What? He's like, it's the only way.
It's the only way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope Death Stranding is good. Like I said, I think this is when we're finally going to see gameplay. They've been teasing and talking about this and showing stuff.
I think we'll have that moment where the camera moves behind him or whatever, and then everyone's gonna go, ah!
Yeah.
I'm curious how Kojima will enter. I've been joking about it that he's gonna be like flown in on wires over the audience, because like he's come into an orchestra, he's walked down on a light bridge. Like I want him to like fly in over the audience.
I think he's gonna raise up from the ground.
Yeah,
he's gonna come out with lights all around him.
That's likely.
Yeah, so definitely a megalomaniac, you know, at this point, right?
But hey, whatever, go for it.
That's totally fine.
If the game exists, go for it.
Cool. Okay, so Death Stranding. The third one for me is not going to be Death Stranding. It's going to be something that I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about. Some games that I've been playing through recently, and everyone's going to be so sick of me saying this, but I'm saying it anyway. Splinter Cell. Oh. I'm really excited for Splinter Cell. I absolutely love Conviction. I just played through Blacklist for the first time. It was really good. They need the old voice actor back, but they're working on it. And I think that with his tease with Sam Fisher, with Michael Ironside being the voice of him again in Ghost Recon Wildlands DLC, which I didn't play, I looked it up. I think that's kind of their way of saying it's coming back. And even the voice actor himself said, like, you know, if there was a good enough story to come back to be a part of, then I'd reprise the role. It's like, you basically just said, like, you're coming, you know, which I'm just really excited about.
Or that if he's not in this one, the story sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Which was like the last one. And they wanted a guy who could do the mocap, and Michael Ironside's a bigger, older gentleman, and he was like, you can't do it. So we're getting a new voice for him who's completely different, way younger. It's horrible. Like, the voice actor's fine, but it's just that face. He's like grizzled. They didn't even make it a prequel. Make it a prequel. Anyway, I'm really excited about it. Ian, I don't know what your like experience with that franchise is.
I was trying to think. I'm not sure if I've really ever played any of them, honestly. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I've probably played like a couple minutes, but
well, basically, no. I played, I think Double Agent was like my first 360 game, and I remember thinking, this is too complicated for me. Like back when I was a bit younger, it was like the first, I was like, what the heck? But I don't know. I love sneaking around in games. Obviously, it's like the Assassin's Creed poster. I really like what Ubisoft has been doing lately with a lot of their franchises, and they've really been supporting them for the long term, which is really cool. And it's basically like you are just the coolest Black Ops agent possible. And in the last game, they even allowed you to you don't have to kill people. You can knock them out. You can completely avoid them. You get points based on your performance in any of these like multiple categories. You can go full Gears of War, shoot everybody. You can like silently take everybody out with your gun and your knife, or you can just avoid. You can avoid the whole thing. So I kind of like that whole like player agency, and I think that's like really, I think it's really cool. And I love like they've had co-op in the games, which are really fun. You know, kind of sneaking around with a friend, like picking people off together. That's so much fun. And I would love to see a 4-player co-op. Like, it would be nuts, but I would love to see it. Not necessarily like Ghost Recon, where it's like one big open world, but like Hitman style, like where it's got like a few smaller areas that are really densely packed. Because driving 10 kilometers is not fun for me. Like, it's not fun anymore. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I played like 2 seconds of Far Cry 5 and I had to drive across like the whole thing, and I was like,
it wasn't for you. That's okay. I understand that.
I like that level editor though. I've got a helicopter circling.
Oh, really? Uh-oh, they finally found you.
They found me.
There. You've been compromised.
Go.
I'm sorry. They're going after all the people I care the most about. So yeah, Far Cry 5. I wish I could play because you made it on PS4, right?
PC.
Was on PC?
Level. Yeah.
They had the cross. I tried to look up your level, I think, a while ago, and I couldn't find it on Xbox.
On Xbox? Oh yeah. I wonder. I don't know.
Yeah, because I was like, oh cool, I want to play an E level.
I couldn't find my PC level on Jones's PS4, so yeah, maybe it's not.
Cross.
Made one called the Stand on Blood Ocean.
Oh.
You couldn't find it. It's real weird.
Yeah. There's some actually pretty cool levels in there, but there's some pretty, obviously with any level creator, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But for you, for Splinter Cell, like, is there any time that you've been interested in that franchise? Does a new one excite you at all, or is it more so just like, hey, that'd be cool?
I mean, yeah, it seems like they're neat. I've just never jumped into them that I can recall. I really liked Siphon Filter as a kid.
I've heard stuff about that, and I know that Snake made a reference to both Sam and Gabe from Siphon Filter in one of the games,
really?
and they do that from time to time. I think in Ghost Recon Wildlands, they even they talk about Snake jokingly for a minute. Which is really
funny.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to trying it. I mean, I think that style of gameplay is really fun. So
yeah. Oh man, I would love it. Oh man, I'd love to sneak around with you, man, doing some Black Ops missions. It'd be so good.
Cool. Yeah.
And I just think there's so many cool possibilities. And one of my favorite things that they did in Blacklist that I wish more games would do, the first level you play, you go through them like, oh, I don't have like an enemy radar. You can buy that on your plane, and then it'll like you'll have a radar then. You have to like get it yourself, because it's like, well,
I like stuff like that. In-game unlocks. And like a choice.
Yeah, because like I never had to pick it up if I didn't want to. And then there's like a way to level it up even more. And like you could do that with everything. It's like, oh, you can level up like your ability to self-heal, which is like, oh, if that was something that you got in a lot of fights and you wanted to heal in between, that's okay. But if you didn't, then that you didn't ever have to pick that. And I was like, I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, because there's so many things that you're just given in the beginning of most games that you're like, okay, why do I have this ability? Like, why do I sense everyone in an area? You know, you're like, okay, like, I guess it's part of my equipment or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm magic.
Yeah, exactly. I'm magic, and I can take as many bullets as Wolverine. I'm totally fine. Yeah, but I'm really excited about Splinter Cell, and I think it's coming. I think we're gonna see that probably pop up, if not at Xbox or at Microsoft, definitely, obviously at Ubisoft. So, which, by the way, do you have a favorite Ubisoft franchise, Ian?
Well, now it's Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, baby.
I love you so much for that answer. It's so good.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I've always been a huge Rayman fan.
Oh, cool.
I love Rayman. Like, I played the first one a lot, and yeah, I mean, I think Origins and Legends are so good.
Pretty different style though, from like the 3D to the 2D.
Yeah, I prefer the Legends style of graphics in that, but yeah, I mean, those are my big Ubisoft ones, I think.
Sure. Yeah,
because Assassin's Creed I've never really jumped into. I liked the boat stuff in Black Flag a lot, so Skull and Bones might be cool. I don't know, but
oh my gosh, I would love to play Skull and Bones. Like, that is like when they introduced that in 3 and then made like Black Flag around that, and then Rogue after that. I was like, man, they should do more stuff with this boat stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm really hopeful that it's cool. And I'm glad I got to. Yeah, they're finally doing it. I think after Sea of Thieves, though, they're like, let's just like take a while, make sure it's really good, because people are gonna
yeah.
Man, what a. I remember you guys talking a lot about that over on Easy Allies, and I remember playing like an alpha build or a beta build or multiple builds of that game coming out, and I was like, yeah, and I remember just thinking like, yeah, I was like, oh, you guys are so excited about Sea of Thieves, and I was just like, I don't know. Like, I was like, I'm really nervous about this, and then it finally came out the same way that I'd played it before, and I was like,
that was the death knell of that, was like, because in the first couple of betas, it was like, okay, clearly they're just not not unlocking all the stuff that you do. And like in the last final beta, right before it went out, I was like, maybe is there not anything else than this, you know? But I was still like hopeful, you know, because I do think the core, like the engine and gameplay of that game are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think like the way the boats work and feel and the way the teamwork happens, it's so fun. But yeah, there just wasn't enough stuff to do. But they're adding it. I don't know. I think a year from now, that game will be pretty rad. I don't know. Like, I'm not pissed I bought it, I guess. Like, I think it should have been $20, not $60, but
yeah, I had the Games Pass, so that's how I played it.
Sure,
so like,
sure.
It seemed like at first it was like, oh, this makes the Game Pass look cooler, like because you're like, oh, this is like brand new game, this is gonna full price game I get to play for $10. It's like, so it's like, I hope that Halo and Gears and stuff going forward won't be in a similar boat. It's just like, make the Game Pass
Gears
look
I've
good.
never gotten into.
Never been your thing.
Like it, but I don't know.
That's okay. It's Gears of War is one of my favorite franchises of all time. A lot of it's because I played with my family, but I love the visceral combat, and their cover system is way better and feels way better than anything Uncharted or anyone else has ever done. For me personally, it's always like a weight to it, and I just love just freaking chainsawing through a guy. Feels so good. Feels so good. Brings out the sadist in me, and just does. All right. Well, to recap here quickly, your top 3 games in this order: number 1, Bloodborne 2. Yeah. Number 2, Dreams. Number 3, Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that'll just be like, that just is a Sony press conference right there. Maybe they'll just show some Dreams and stuff, and they'll just be like, there we go. No Spider-Man today, folks. Everybody, it's coming out in September. It's fine. Sean Layden just. And then for me, if I can remember, there was I'll go in the opposite order here. I said Splinter Cell at the bottom, Anthem in the middle, Ghost of Tsushima at the tippity top. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Good
list. This E3, like we were talking yesterday, I'm hyped, man. Like it could be so crazy.
I know some people are kind of saying like it's not a big deal, and I think for me personally, I love when we get a few years into a console generation like we have, or more than that even. But like now it's just games. Like I kind of get so bored with the whole like, welcome to the brand new PlayStation 5. It can do this and this and this. It's like, oh gosh, like, show me the launch titles that won't be they'll be kind of half baked because they're like, look at how pretty it is. And I'm like, yeah, but how much is there? Now we're getting to the good stuff. Like we're finally getting to the meat and potatoes, and I think it's got a really good chance to be like our stellar year with a lot of, even with leaks aside, like I think there's a lot of cool things that are coming and a lot to be excited about regardless of where you play. So yeah, I'm really hoping that Microsoft is hungry enough and brings some crazy stuff, and hopefully Nintendo shows some crazy Pokemon thing that blows our minds. But who knows? But no predictions.
Animal Crossing. Who knows?
Dude. I mean, come on, Nintendo. You can do it. Pocket Camp. They're just they'll make it's Pokemon Go to Pokemon Let's Go as Pocket Camp to the new stuff. Like, it's Pocket Camp for Switch. Anyway, we're moving into that segment of the show that I like to call, that Ian likes to call, even though he's never done it before. It's called Timekillers. That's right, it's time for Timekillers. Yeah. Pretty good, huh? I can't do that too long because it'll mess up my throat.
Oh, yeah.
It's the games we've been playing, the movies we've been watching, the TV shows we've been viewing. Ian, what have you been killing time with?
Just the other day, I watched seasons 1 and 2 of Search Party.
Oh, what's that?
It's a show on TBS starring, I'm not sure if I say her name right, but Aaliyah Shawkat, who's Maybe from Arrested Development.
Okay.
She's a phenomenal actor, but it's a very, very, very dark comedy about some people who, well, her character mainly wants to look for this missing woman that they kind of knew from college, and then it just kind of goes from there and gets like pretty nuts. So I watched that. Been watching Legion and The Expanse, which are great. Legion, I mean, is like a tone poem. It's not really there's no real story progression week to week. It's pretty,
not really.
You have to kind of just be there for that. What else? I got really excited because Jeff Vandermeer's new book came out, 3 Dead Astronauts, and I went to my Audible, and the audiobook doesn't come out for another 2 months.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like, and I like to listen to books in the car.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Been listening to a lot of Nicholas Jar music lately, though, because of Legion. They used him in that, and I never listened to him before. It's pretty crazy. As far as games, I was playing Pixel Junk Monsters 2, playing a lot of Yoku's Island Express.
I've heard of that, but I don't know what it's
about. It's delightful. It's a pinball Metroidvania.
Okay.
It's insane. It's one of the jolliest little games. and it's really pretty great. I mean, sometimes you get into situations where like you have to backtrack quite a bit, and you're doing it pinball style, so it like takes a hot minute. But it's just a jolly game. It's so happy and fun. Pixel Junk Monsters is also very cool and nice. Pretty hard. I played a little bit of Vampire.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah, a little rough around the edges. Swimming in sevens, I would say, as Huber likes to say, but it's definitely got some really cool stuff in it, and then some other stuff that's like a little rough. Like I don't think I'll finish it probably, but I really like the music and the environment and I mean, again, it's like that gothic kind of setting, so I really like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, if you want a kind of like adventure game with some combat tacked onto it, and you like vampires a lot, I think it's definitely worth checking it out. It feels a lot like a spirit. I've heard it called a spiritual successor to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which is sort of accurate. They're similar in some ways, and dissimilar in some pretty big other ways. But yeah, I mean, Bloodlines is a crazy game, but that's what I've been playing.
Cool, man. I like the pose at the end. Dang, I should pose at the end when I'm done. That's really good. Look at you, man. That's great. So on my end, I have not been like, that's all different than what I've been doing, which is great because there's good contrast then.
Yeah.
The big thing, I saw Deadpool 2 yesterday. I don't know if have you seen Deadpool 2?
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it when it came out, I think.
Do you have like just a brief, like, how do you feel about it?
It was fun. I mean, like, to me, it's like, it's Deadpool 2. Like, if you went in expecting something other than Deadpool 2, you're not going to have fun. Yeah. It's like, what did you want out of this movie?
Definitely.
It's basically exactly what I thought it would be. Yeah, so I had fun. I don't know.
Weirdly, I felt the budget so much more in this movie because it was so much bigger than the first one. So like everything they did was like, oh, this looks really nice now. Before it was kind of like they would never try to like have him have some sort of kind of like after death, like that whole like water thing they kept doing and doing all the special effects. I was like, okay. I don't know like if it was just I wasn't in the mood for it, but I felt like it kind of dragged on a little bit for me personally, and not all the jokes were landing. There were a few good ones here and there, but I just didn't feel like, it was fine. It's fine. It was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah, I'm not like craving a third one. I know there's some people out there who just love Deadpool, but I just
they're doing an X-Force now, right? Like
I think so. The problem is we're not sure where all that's going down. If Disney acquires them, if Comcast tries to sneak in and buy them, all that weird stuff. But yeah, an X-Force film I could definitely see happening, or just have Deadpool 3 be X-Force.
Yeah,
whatever.
Basically X-Force.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it by now, I paid $5 for it, and I thought because it's $5 Tuesday, I felt better there. I was like, you know what? I only paid $5 for this. That's totally fine. I'm like, that's okay. I wasn't like Avengers style, and it's so weird and kind of cool now that we have, superhero. It's just movies as a genre basically, but that can tackle and hit different notes. Where it's like Avengers is like, high action, really intense, kind of somber at times, whereas Deadpool is just kind of like, it's kind of wacky and stuff. It has some heartfelt moments, but it's pretty zany and kind of dumb. But I will say my favorite bit, and it's not to spoil it for anybody, but there's a portion where there's a lot of death happening of like people that you've met recently, like in this, and it was just like, so I was just like, oh, they're gonna do this, and I thought that was pretty comical, especially with their one regular guy on the team who I thought was great, who I wanted to have him be in the rest of the film because like this guy's great. Like,
I've seen that actor before. He's funny. I don't remember. I think. Oh wait, is he the guy from Catastrophe? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I've seen him before too, but I couldn't place him. But yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds is he's a really good. Wade Wilson in Deadpool. And again, a lot of it is because I love Deathstroke and that Deadpool's a complete ripoff and way more popular. I was in a Hot Topic recently. They're like, here's our Avengers side of the table and here's our Deadpool side of the table. And I was oh my gosh. I was like, you don't have any like Deathstroke. They're like, no, we don't. I don't even think they knew what I was talking about. Yeah, I was like,
have you ever seen the movie Game Night?
Yes.
I just saw it the other day. It was like way better than it had any like needed to be. The camera work and stuff was very fun. I don't know. Anyway,
it's a weird movie. I just don't know like who the market is, because like at first I was like, okay, it's kind of like a fun movie, but then it's kind of bad, and it's like, but it's pretty good and it's pretty well acted. I will say the guy who plays the cop in that movie, because I saw a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
he was like the best.
Jesse Plemons, yeah, I love him.
Evil or Meth Damon, as people call him.
Yeah. Or Fat Damon.
Yeah. That movie was like, I was like, what? This movie? Okay. Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, the other thing, Westworld. I'm gonna keep up with Westworld, which is like a show I really like, but also am like kind of depressed when I'm done watching it.
Yeah.
That's what Westworld's supposed to do.
I've only seen the first 3 of this season. I haven't kept up on it.
Oh yeah, I think you'd like it. I mean,
yeah.
It's like super high budget, and I kind of like that with TV, like to be like, oh, and they really do take it pretty seriously. And the question is, for me in this show, I just don't think this is a show like a Walking Dead where they can have it go on for eternity. I think you let that genie out of the bottle. It's like if they did a Jurassic Park TV show. I don't think you're doing that show for like 10 seasons. You're doing it for like maybe 2 or 3, and you're like, well.
The problem is if they did it like the analogy for Jurassic Park show that would fit with the Westworld thing is like, because it's the same. So like, if they did a Jurassic Park show the way they did a Westworld show, people would riot. I think like, because like if the dinosaurs didn't get loose until the end of season 1, it would be a nightmare. Like, and that's the thing I'm kind of sick of is like, where Westworld, like the stuff that happened the last episode of Westworld season 1 should have been like episode 4.
Sure, I get where you're coming from.
Like, it's the same as what we were talking about with origin stories. It's like, yo, we don't need this. Like, I'm sick of, I say this all the time, but like, I'm sick of shows where at the end of season 1, I'm like, well, season 2 will be sweet. Like, I'm sick of saying that. Like, same with Runaways and like all these shows where it's just like, oh man, just don't waste my time. Like, jump into it. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. I think in Westworld's case, I get where like the first 2 or 3 episodes could have been like they were before, but then, that's at the point where you say, all right, now they're starting to get aware and like, let's start going. But
like they're doing a different thing. And like, obviously it's ironic that I'm espousing that kind of mentality with shows like this when I like Legion, where it like literally is like 3 episodes worth of story. It takes 2 seasons to do, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Hey, that's okay, man. I think to be human is to be contradictory and hypocritical sometimes, because there's some things that are just internal where you just say, you know what, I just really like this thing. And there are people say, but you said you hated all these other things that are just like that. It's like, but I like this thing. Like,
what can I tell you?
Yeah. It's like that. But Westworld, I actually watched some old Simpsons episodes recently because we've been thinking about Brad Bird recently, and I was like, I'm gonna go back and watch some old Simpsons. And man, I will say this, I think I laugh more at that than I did at like Deadpool. Just some of those old Simpsons episodes, man. There's just so many just quick little one-liners that I'm like, wow, they couldn't. Today, I think there's a lot of stuff in Simpsons that would be ridiculed harshly. So I'm like, all right, I get it. Like back in the time,
Seasons 2 through 9 were, the ones I liked.
That's what I've been watching. I kind of skipped up to like season 7 and stuff, and I've kind of been starting there because like for me, a lot of it's so hard when like the animation is just so weird and janky in the past.
Not
it's like
good in the beginning. Yeah,
but it's very good. But for as far as playing, like I said, I've been playing a lot of Splinter Cell because we did a Splinter Cell wish list, which is really, really fun. You should definitely check that out. But I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed Origins today just because I could, because I got that Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia game. It was free. I was playing a little bit of that. Those Chronicle games, they're fine. I just I have no artistically they're really cool, but they're not like really engaging. They're just kind of there. And it's
that was kind of what I had heard, where they're just like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's like it kind of reminds me of that like the Mark of the Ninja, but that was like a much better game or that. A few years ago game. That's pretty much what I've been killing time with.
Nice.
I did. Pose. I feel like
I loved
it. Your pose is better.
Did you see Solo?
I did see Solo. Yeah. Did you see Solo?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. People are losing their minds over it. And you know what?
It's great. Whatever.
People are like, oh my gosh, like it's gonna lose money. It's the first Star Wars movie to lose money. Here's the reason, everybody. It's gonna lose $50 million. You know what? They did massive reshoots. It came out at a really, really packed time of the year, and it came out 6 months after the most divisive Star Wars film of all time.
Right.
It's just a lot of bad things, and I feel bad because the movie is fine. It's a fine, good time, and people are just like, it's the worst. It's like, guys, calm down. Like everybody.
It's super not the worst.
It's super.
It's like fun.
It's the least offensive thing I think ever. I think the biggest thing in there is like you have a robot who's like all about robot rights. And like
Yeah.
that's the big thing they're like pushing on you, and it's just like, and even she doesn't really. She's just like, yeah, I'm fighting for whatever.
She's just like, all right, I stumbled into this. I mean, like the twist ending thing is kind of funny, and like how Solo gets his last name is like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But like those are the only things I was kind of like. The last name thing, I was like, okay. The other thing at the end, I was like, neat. What the hell? Like,
Yeah, that's why I was like, grab my buddy.
Okay.
I was like,
yeah, I was
what?
like, all right.
I had to research it because I was thinking like, I know this, but
Apparently it's a thing.
this?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd known about this thing.
Yeah.
I know we're being very vague, but if you know it, if you've seen
it,
we're talking about it. But it was just like, oh, okay, this is how they did that and put it all together.
It's been a thing for a while, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, which you know what, it makes me excited about the future. And I will say this: I never thought Han Solo was like super interesting enough to like get the backstory of.
Sure.
So like when they were like, oh, we're making an origin story, I was like, okay, I guess it's more attractive than doing a Leia origin story where she's just like a senator's daughter on, Alderaan, and she's like another meeting. You know what I mean? Like it's just not that cool, and like it leads up to Rogue One or something.
Right.
But I think that if they do their Yoda and Boba Fett movies and Obi-Wan movie, like I think those ones will do better. Like, and I just think they'll be smarter about not releasing it 6 months after. They'll just be like a full year, give it time to breathe, so that way people are excited about it. And it's just crowded.
I saw a funny image where it's Ewan McGregor on the Christopher Robin poster or like whatever for the thing, but then they zoomed in, and if you look at just his face and the Robin, it's OBI right next to him, so it's just OB. It was funny.
Really good. I just watched that trailer, that full trailer today. I don't know if you've seen the Christopher Robin trailers. Oh man, the first like 20 seconds, it's like it will stab you in your emotional heart if you have one, because it's like it's very good. And I will say this movie is going to go further than I thought it was originally going to go, because it was like, oh, he's going to go like find out how to be a kid again, but it's like, nope, what happens when Winnie and friends come to the real world? And like that is really interesting to me, because I have a soft spot for Winnie the Pooh, like that whole group.
Oh man, if Nephilim shows up though, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think they might make a joke about it, and then Pooh will just shudder, and then they'll just kind of move along. I'm excited about that.
I've got to watch Paddington. Apparently, those movies are like unassailably perfect.
I guess so, and I keep thinking like, what, Paddington 2 is like a perfect film? Okay.
Like literally everyone I know, like even really cynical people, have said it's just delightful.
Cool.
And I need to see it. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
Well, if you watch it, you let me know. It'll force me to watch it. I'll be like, okay, I need to watch this movie. Okay, well, Solo, by the way, if you had to, would you recommend it to people? That's what I always like to ask you. Yeah,
absolutely. I want people to spend money on it so that they keep making Star Wars movies to make people mad.
Me too. I do too, because you know what? Star Wars doesn't belong to any one person. It's everybody's, all right? Yeah. So everybody just calm down. It's going to be fine. We're lucky we're getting Star Wars films. That's what I tell people. I'm like, you know what?
We don't deserve them.
Yeah,
we're proven by the day that humanity doesn't deserve Star Wars. So
definitely, and it's the same like thing that like The Hobbit was in beforehand. It's just like Lord of the Rings, and they're like, hey, they're making the Hobbit films, and I love Lord of the Rings. So it's like, I don't need this, but I'm glad to be back. They're not great, but they're here. Like, okay, it's better than nothing. It's not like ruining the Lord of the Rings for me. I'm not like, oh, now Two Towers sucks. It's like, no, it's like a separate thing. Like I can separate in my brain, especially if that TV series that Amazon's making, even if that tanks and is horrible, I'll still probably watch it and go, all right, we're back in Middle Earth.
It doesn't tank. It's going to be so expensive.
Oh my gosh. And Peter Jackson, I think like today or yesterday said he is not involved with it. People were saying that he was, or that he was on a short list, but he's like, I am not involved. I am not involved at all. I'm working on my super Mortal Engines cities movie.
Mortal Engines, yeah.
Are you excited about that?
I don't know. The trailer, I was like, this looks weird. I'm going to see it. I don't know.
I just thought, I was like, this will be so good when I can stream it. Like
it looks like one of those movies where it's like, hey, if this turns out to be great, I'm thrilled, but it'll probably be like a 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's based on a book series, and I think that's always an uphill battle, because you have like that devoted fan base who wants to see it, and they'll just be like, well, it's not as good as the book. And you're like, okay.
All right. Like, fine. Sure.
Like, we're not all Harry Potters, which I know some people will be like, how dare you? Those Harry Potter movies were as good as the books, but they're pretty good. They're a good watch.
Actually, I stopped reading the books because they were ruining the movies for Harry Potter.
Oh, really? Because you're just like, it's spoilers.
Yeah, I was just like, I'd rather just watch these movies and not know what's going to happen,
I love you so much more for that. That is so great, dude. Because you don't.
I only read 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I was like, all right. Like, it's just making these movies not as fun. I'm just gonna watch the movies.
That's great because like you left after like the fourth book's like one of the longest, so you didn't have to read like these gigantic books. You're like, I'll just
Yeah,
watch like a 2.5 hour movie and call
yeah,
it a day. I've got no
yeah.
baggage.
The
I'm not
Cliff
expecting
Notes.
anything. You're like,
The,
oh, that
the,
fight was pretty cool, and they're like, well, in the book it's cooler, and you're like, I wouldn't know.
Great. I love having people tell me how they're different, you know, and then I'm just like, oh, cool. Like, oh, Neville does this. That's neat. Like, oh, the fight makes actual sense in the book. That's cool at the end.
It's kind of like with anything, even like Star Wars Rebels now, people are like, well, in the expanded universe, it was the Legends continuity. And you're like, yeah, but they're still doing that. They're just trying to make money off it now. They're like, we can't have Chewie get smashed by a moon anymore. It's just like, we got to do something different and make money off it.
Is that what happens?
Yeah,
smashed
Chewie
by a moon.
He sacrifices himself, and there's like a comic panel of him like with his arms up, and the moon is about to crush him. And I was joking with a friend the other day who was saying like if they did a Chewie standalone movie, you'd start it off like Deadpool 2, where it's Chewie, but he's kind of going, and it's just subtitles. Like you're probably wondering how I got here, as like the moon is about to crush him. And he's like 2 weeks ago, I had like an epiphany.
Cuts to him playing Majora's Mask or whatever.
Yeah, he's just like, oh man, good one. Yeah, there you go. Timekillers. Let's move into community feedback and questions. Sure. My favorite part of the show. I love it so much. I had asked everybody what their game like they want to play, just like us. What game do they want to play right now? Let's see the first one here. W. Lucha, he says, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That timeline is going to be everything I want. Loved Origins so much, and I'm ready for more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Missile Mage says, Dreams.
Yeah.
I need to get my hands on that thing and explore the possibilities. I also really want to see what people like Ian Hinck can do with it.
Oh.
Look at that. Yeah, you're great, man. People love
excited.
You. Very excited. Our buddy, the hashtag, and it says Dragon's Dogma 2, all caps. Yeah. Because like I love that game. I know you love it. It's a good game.
Dragon's Dogma.
Because it has
so
the potential.
Stupid. I love that game.
Oh, it's so stupid. He says because it has the potential to be the best game ever. He said it's heavily rumored by just me. I think it's time. Let's do it.
Why playing games with my heart hashtag this? I was like, heavily rumored, really?
Yeah. Okay, Monster Hunter World, why can't I crawl all over a monster? I know they kind of break your gameplay mechanic, but there's so many times I have to jump in the air and swing at them, and it's like, all right, finally you can
play Insect Glaive, baby.
Oh, that's true, I guess.
Jumping all over the place. I never touch the ground.
I just use that hammer, baby. I'm going down those slopes. I'm just like I'm a whirling dervish. Just like that.
Huber loves that.
Oh my goodness, that and the longsword, which I think a lot of people use, but I love that Helmbreaker. Anyway, Cal G says, or Mr. Garriock, as I like to call him, no basis in reality, as far as I know, but I want an Until Dawn 2 reveal. You take on a bunch of horror tropes in a different setting with different actors. He says, actual possibility, though, Doom 2. I want to see how they can take it up a notch.
Both of those would be fun, yeah.
I think those are really good. Rickham Robo, buddy Rickham Robo, he says, well, 2 of my E3 dreams came true last year with Beyond Good and Evil 2 and Metroid Prime 4. All that's left is Skies of Arcadia 2. Oh, but if you were asking what I can't wait to play, that's Dragon Quest 11. Yeah, man after my own heart. I love it so much. Bad Gentlemen, Smash Brothers 2018. It'll be interesting to see where they take it next. Will it be different? Back to Melee standards? How will it affect the pro scene, etc.? Also, online Smash, I think is really good too. And the last one I'm going to read here today from our friend Beaten Down Brian. He says, Ghost of Tsushima. I love you, Brian, so much. I'm excited to explore feudal Japan, and I'm excited to see Sucker Punch do something new. Yes, I completely agree. I think we're in accordance there. I don't think there wasn't a bad one in the bunch.
No, the dog's having a dream.
Oh. What's he thinking?
I don't know. He's barking. He was barking and going, Anyway.
Well, let's get our first question from Beaten Down Brian. He says, do you think Shadows Die Twice will be a new IP or Bloodborne 2, and which would you prefer it to be? #Critical Podcast. We talked about this a little bit. You said you've got some stuff that kind of backs up the fact that it'll be a feudal Japan something.
Yeah, right? I think so. But also, I mean, based on, not much, but like, I mean, if it is a Bloodborne 2, hey, can't go wrong there. But I mean, like I said before, like, if it's something new, that could be awesome. Like, it's a funny thing because it's like my undying love for Bloodborne makes me want a Bloodborne 2, but a sequel is a known quantity to some extent, right? Sure. It's going to be at least somewhat tied to that kind of thing. So you kind of know what to expect in some way. Whereas a new IP, you don't know what you're going to get. So the potential is there either up or down, you know.
Sure.
So really, I think I don't anticipate From Software putting out a bad title. So I think really it's going to be great, whatever it is, you know?
Yeah. I think it's kind of weird that they're in a similar position to CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people really love Witcher 3, myself included, and really it doesn't matter what they make next because they're a company that not only respects you as a gamer or just a game enthusiast, but also is just going to crank out just an insane game.
Yeah.
And if they make you buy anything extra, it's totally going to be worth it. Like, it's not going to be like, well, you can buy this like little thing. It's like, no, we're going to make a full like 20 or 30 hour expansion.
Right. Here's a whole other continent.
Yeah, you're like, and here's just this. And the thing is, you know, they weren't making this probably when they started. Like, they at the end of like when they were about to ship this thing, like there's probably some pre-production and stuff, but it wasn't like they're withholding from the game because the game's already like 120 hours or whatever. So I'm hoping but either way, yeah, you're right. I think it's exciting for Bloodborne 2, but it's even more exciting for something brand new. It's a cool one. Hashtagonist here. We're just going backwards through our questions. If you could go back to any event that happened in your life that you could roll an IRL Nat 20 on, what would you pick? Hashtag Critical Podcast. Ian, what would you pick, my friend?
Oh, jeez.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have a full lot of regrets or anything. I mean, like, yeah, like, I mean, it's easy to do like a sad answer where it's like, oh, I would try to like not have this bad thing happen or whatever, but like with as far as it is within my control. But I don't think that's in the spirit of the question necessarily. Probably, I'm trying to think of something that I like almost did all right on, you know. But, like, do you have one? What would yours be?
I don't know. I was thinking about it. I'm a really lucky guy. I might not be exactly where I want in life, but like I think back to like meeting people for the first time, and I think like when I met you a few months ago, like in person there, and hung out with you, I was like thinking maybe was there like a moment where I was like I would take that back, and I was like no, I had an absolutely lovely time hanging out with you, and I just feel so lucky to have gotten that chance. So it's hard for me to be like I'd re-roll something like that. I'm like no man, I'm just really happy. Like I'm a lucky guy.
Right. Yeah, I feel kind of the same. Like aside from like sad answers, like I think everything's like fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's
so
like
I
one
guess
of those.
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm sorry, hashtag this. I'm sure there's something like kind of like you were thinking they were gonna get into. Like I just don't.
Well, I mean, now that I think about it, I mean this is simple maybe, but like I've had various lottery tickets throughout my life. Like
that's what I thought too. Yeah.
Yeah, rolling that 20 on that.
Oh yeah.
No problems forever. Like
you know what though, I'm happy you didn't because there's a chance if that were to have happened, we wouldn't have met. Because you're just living on an island or something or doing whatever you want. I don't know what you want.
I wonder what I would do. I mean, like, I think if I won the lottery, my lifestyle would probably be very similar to how it is right now, but I just wouldn't be flat broke. Like I would just I would have way more synths. Like instead of like thinking about buying a thing, I would probably just buy it and then I'd go broke. But like. So maybe I would be exactly where I'd be.
Yeah, you'd be one of those millionaires who's broke again.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like, more important than money is time. And, like, I will always choose time over money. Like, we don't make a lot of money doing Easy Allies, contrary to what the monthly numbers might appear. Like, there are 7 of us, or 9 of us, and we live in LA. So it's, like, basically enough to pay everything and, like, have, like, a little bit of money for food and stuff. And like to like try to save back up, but then you have to pay taxes, so you go broke again. So it's like it'd be nice to have a little more security in that, but like I have the time to do what I want, so I feel like I won the lottery. Like life is a crazy dream. Like everything is just amazing. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, you out of most of them, and I don't know all of you like super personally, but you are one of the ones to me that I'm just like the most appreciative of now, and I think deserves it a lot. Like, because you're not only just because this is not supposed to, I'm not just kissing up to him, all right, guys, but you're a talented guy, and like I think a lot of you draw the ire of many, and I think that this is a really cool thing to like be a part of and have people find you and love you and speak so highly about you. We're seeing it here in our feedback, but I think that's a really cool thing, and I think it's well earned. So
Well, thank
you deserve that dream. You've dreamed a dream, and now it has come true.
Yeah.
Like that's a beautiful thing, because like when they say every journey begins with a dream.
Yeah.
Disney tie-in. I love Disney so friggin' much.
Me
Anyway,
too.
yeah, that's okay though. That means we're not one. You guys can take our nat 20s. You guys can have them. Tell us what you would roll a nat 20 on. That's the thing. Because I just it's one of those things where it's like if I maybe met like a celebrity and I was like, I want to roll a nat 20, and it's like I'm best friends with The Rock now or something like that. Be like, okay, that's pretty cool. It's like maybe not going to change my life, but that's kind of fun.
I mean, it's also like I think just part of how my brain works, thankfully, where like I forget things like in my own life. So it's like lots of terrible things have happened to me, and like I've done and said probably terrible things or like put my foot in my mouth, whatever, but I just don't remember them.
Sure. Yeah.
Like to some extent, like little tiny, I'm not saying like I have done anything bad, but like social faux pas, like, like screwing up a first impression or whatever. I just don't recall.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. As Pooh Bear would say, he remembers to forget those types of things.
Right. Exactly.
Which is great. Maybe, you know what? Something for both of us, Ian. How about this? I'll say that I went back in time. I tried to protest them changing the Maelstrom in Disney World into Frozen Ever After.
Yeah.
And it worked. And they're like, you know what? We're going to keep this weird Norwegian ride.
We'll build a second one above it. Like, whatever.
Oh, my gosh. That would be incredible. There's two waterfalls.
Funny. Yeah.
Oh, man. I would love that. Thank you, Disney.
Thank
you. Cal G, he wants to know something video game related. It's a challenge for you, Ian. It said if you were in charge of RuPaul's Drag Race for a week, what kind of video game related challenge would you make them go through?
Oh, geez. All right. Okay. All right. So I mean, the nature of these shows is already a battle royale. So they go in and only one comes out. But I think that a theme for an episode, maybe like an earlier episode where there's still enough of contestants left, but like, where there's still 6 or 7 people around, but do some kind of like battle royale Fortnite style deal where it's like some kind of, you drop them off in a location and they have to find like pieces of a garment and like fashion a look based on things they just like pick up in the wild, but they can also like somehow sabotage other queens to get them out or something, or like, remove their stuff. And then at the end, either there's a walk-off at the end based on the looks they could put together in the wilderness, or only one gets out alive or whatever, something like Fortnite-y, I think could be pretty fun in that show. That'd be kind of cool.
What if you gave all of them like 2 or 3 like blood packs that were different colors, and they could sabotage the garments, so that way like after 5 minutes it'd just like be like purple paint on something, like oh no, like
you throw them at someone else, and if you get tagged you're out or something. Like, yeah, that could be kind of fun. I don't know.
That'd be pretty cool. I'd watch it. That sounds great. Got a few questions here from Missile Mage. Says E3 conferences have always been about getting excited over new games or announcements. How much focus do you put on them being an entertaining piece of content in themselves? And is the show just as important as the games during this week?
Speaking of the conferences themselves, right? Not our coverage of them?
Yes, the conferences themselves.
Sure, yeah. I think that, given the nature of the beast, it's part and parcel that your show will be good if you have good stuff. But that said, presentation it gives it that extra oomph, right? Like the best show just has the best stuff. Like there's not really a way to get around that. And I think like you could make a really funny show, like with a really good host with really good jokes that has like even like a narrative or something that just like blows everybody away, and like it would be a fun time. But if all the game announcements were bad, it would still be not a very hype conference, But that said, yeah, like having a live orchestra in addition to an amazing lineup of games, just pushes it over the edge. So I think that it's for sure part of it. Really, the logistics of how to do a good show, we were talking about this yesterday. Like making your focus more on the video aspect, the live stream more than the live audience, I think is a good point. Bloodworth was talking about that, I think, on this week's podcast. But like, because like having the bodies there or whatever, like explosions in real life, it's like it's fine, but it doesn't translate. They're saying this, and like, I think that I totally agree with that. Like, have the show be good for the millions of people watching online more so than the 2,000 people in the room. Make it good for the people in the room too, but because their enthusiasm really pumps it up. But yeah, it's an intricate dance, and we see year to year the different companies like faltering or stepping it up and like doing the right thing here and there. I do think though that like Sony just truly nailed it when they had the orchestra, because not just because they had an orchestra, but because it was just back to back good content displayed in an effective and succinct way. And I think that they spruced it up with stuff in between, but like, you don't need to have a rock band come out and play a song. You just need to have a rock band come out and play a song while there's sweet footage happening of something new. Like, it's all about the games, and they need to be front and center. So the answer is yes, they need to be entertaining, but the games are what makes it the most entertaining, I think.
Yes. I concur, which is a really fun way of saying that. I mean, I agree. That's it. Yeah, I think one good example, look at Bethesda. They have this cool like stuff that we don't get to see if you're not there. And I think that kind of is unfortunate, because you watch that show and you say, okay, you had a stage, but you barely used it. And for everyone at home, that's how it feels. But if you're there, it's like, no, they have like other stuff. You could go Bethesda Land, do all this other stuff. It's like, nope. For us, we didn't see that. So
yeah, like, but the Bethesda Land is a perfect example where it's like, that was just a Bethesda Direct.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
You should have saved money and just streamed a video.
Yep.
If that's all it was. But yeah, if there was a carnival there too, then it's like, all right. But like, the theming is kind of lost for those of us just on the internet, Yep.
And I was talking about this recently, and people really liked how like Bethesda opened with like all the people who are making the game and their kids. I hate that. Honestly, like that, and it's just the EA thing all over again. It's a dev diary. I'm like, you know what? Release that later for everybody. Just, you want to start your show off with a bang. Like, you want people to be like, whoa, like you're in it. You could throw that in the middle somewhere, but like,
sure,
go bonkers.
To me, I almost, and maybe this is just my memory being generous to it, it felt like a part of the pre-show, that thing, and like it wasn't like the actual opening. It was like the soft open, like. But I'm sure it was part of it, but like, yeah.
Yeah, well, and for an example there too, like with Doom, if you're gonna have the guy come out and play the guitar, which is great, have it while, like saying, show the game, and just be like, just have him and just have like no like audio for the game or whatever, just have him going nuts on that and be like, wow, this is Doom 2, wow, this is nuts, I want to hear it.
Project it like onto them, even, like it'd be crazy. I don't know.
Yep, and don't cut away to the wide shot.
Yeah, don't cut to the wide shot.
Like, if you don't have to for gameplay.
Yeah, like, because it's like, sure, we get it, you built this big giant stage. We also just want to see the game. Like, show the wide at the very beginning of each thing as you're pushing in, and then cut, and don't cut away.
Yeah, especially if it's like Death Stranding, and they're just getting into gameplay, and they're like, shoot back to wide. You're like, what are you doing?
It's like, what? Yeah.
Things are Ghost of Tsushima. You're like, oh, they're like, well, for the demo here, we're gonna show these guys playing on stage, and you're like, please don't, please no. Yeah. But yeah, that's a really good question. And last question from him: are there any video games or movies that you didn't enjoy but are glad they exist just for the soundtrack alone?
Oh. I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy Vampire, but definitely the soundtrack was a highlight. I really like the soundtrack of that. As far as a game I straight up don't like, but I love the music, that's a toughie.
I thought of one when I was like trying to think of one, and it's Skyrim. I really like their main theme, and I actually know a few lines, but like, or a few words. But
I love that song. Yeah,
dude, it's Nalak Zinlas Farin. That's all man, it's a good song. I just hate hearing it at every E3. I'm just like, like, I used to really like it. I was like, it gets me stirred up. I wish the game did.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And do you want to stick with that one?
We'll go with that. Yeah. And like sort of Vampire, even though I think the game is pretty cool, but.
Okay. Well, do you want to just do briefly 2 more questions, and then we'll be all wrapped up. 2 final questions. #Critical Podcast. With it being Pride Month and with E3 around the corner, in what ways do you think the gaming community can do to be more inclusive to their members that are often overlooked for game developers, fans of the community, and with the games themselves? Do you have any thoughts on that, my friend?
I mean, pie in the sky, uh, it's like, and I don't know the answer obviously, because if someone did know the exact answer, it would have happened. But like, just make it safer. Like,
Yeah.
make the fans stop. Like, make the bad eggs stop like harassing people and like making things not safe for people. So yeah, just make video gaming not toxic, if that's possible.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that, please.
Yeah.
I mean, besides that, like, I think that a lot of different people, like LA Valiant's doing a pride party, and like various other, like E3 has a pride party, and like it's also Pride Week. Like, I never get to go and do anything for Pride in LA because it's right during E3. It's Pride Month, but like, yeah, I mean, keep working at it. Like, I know there are people like researching this, like, how do we make this kind of trolling and hate and stuff go away, and like, how do we talk to people who are trolling, and like, yeah, I mean, it's just baby steps, right? Time.
Yeah,
I think
that's the hope. Is that it gets... I say do this. Make the most badass video game that everybody loves playing, can't stop talking about, and just make everybody in it gay. And just say, like, you just can't get away from it. And they don't have to bring it up all the time. Because if, like, they're reading about the story and they're like, oh, and, like, this person's wife, and they're like, but she's a woman. And you're like, and I love this character. And they're like, well, she's got a wife, and they adopted a couple of kids. You know,
I mean, like, straight up Overwatch is doing that, like, pretty much. Like, Tracer's gay, and it's just like, they don't like make a big, I mean, that's the way to do it, is like, don't make a big deal about it, but don't hide it. Don't like not make a big deal out of it. Like, it's just, it is who she is.
Yeah, I think with Overwatch it was kind of weird because like she was the face of Overwatch, and like usually at least when I play games, I don't often think about this, or even in movies too. Like the sexual orientation, I couldn't care less which way somebody goes. But then like to have that kind of come out later, it's like I wish they would have started that way, and maybe they were afraid to say like, "Yep, this is our cover person, Tracer, and she just happens to be a lesbian." Like, be like, okay, does that play into gameplay? Like, will she not shoot at women she thinks are attractive? Like, have her like that's not a thing in the game. You know, it's not like she's gonna be worried about that.
It doesn't come up because it doesn't need to. But yeah, I don't know. With Overwatch, it's like, it would have been weird too if they had come out of the gate and just been like, and she's gay. Like,
yeah, it would have been like a weird.
Why are you bringing that up? Like,
yeah, that's true.
So it's a weird thing. It's like, I don't think they were like hiding it. And I'm sure because they've done so much previs and stuff, I'm sure they knew from the beginning.
Totally. And they had like that comic and stuff. It's just, I really wish Overwatch would do single player stuff, because then you could get into that.
Oh,
it'd be really cool to have that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that in some other games coming up. And I'm gonna guess right now, Last of Us 2 is gonna have something in there. I don't necessarily mean it's gonna be Ellie, but I just think.
Oh well, I mean, Ellie is gay, so.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I guess there was
or at least bisexual. Like, she definitely in Left Behind, like, definitely has that moment. You know.
Well, they also had that gay couple, or assumed gay couple, the one guy who commits suicide, and there's that kind of older, gruffer dude. In the first game. Yeah. The thing is, you need to put those people like in Uncharted, where it doesn't have to be grim and depressing.
Right.
And, like, Overwatch kind of does that, where it is fun, but it's not focused at all. Like, you know, Tracer's not sitting with Mercy and she's like, you know, I really miss my girlfriend. You know, like, they're not doing that. It's not
deathly serious. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you make something really cool, and you get it in there, and you just can't avoid it. And they're just like, oh man, because like I hope Tracer players didn't like drop off, and they're just like, I'm not playing Tracer anymore. Like, you're like, come on, she's great. Like, I love Tracer. Well, I hate fighting Tracer because I think she's in the right hands. She's a demon.
Yeah, she's out of control.
Yeah, definitely. All right, but that's we basically answered that question, which is great. We know it. Last thing, we don't need to have any context. Whatever comes to your mind. Tortoise or turtle?
Oh, they're both great. I love them both. Tortoises, yeah. They're just like old turtles.
Yeah, I like them.
Big old turtles.
They're so slow, and they've got those big blocky legs.
Yeah.
Sloth or Sifika lemur? I don't know. Or just lemur? Sloth or lemur?
I don't know what that. Oh yeah, sloth.
Sloth. Yep.
Because they make what's her name? It's so funny.
Oh yeah.
The Good
Bell?
Place. Kristen Bell. Yeah.
One of the two. Was it Bell? It might be Bell.
Kristen Bell.
Yeah. Okay. Horned lizard or gecko?
Gecko.
Yeah. I like horned lizard because it's kind of cool, but gecko. Anyway, believe it or not, that's gonna do it for us this week. I think that's pretty much everything. Did I forget any questions? Did I send you any more than that? That's pretty much
that's all I've seen, I think.
Okay, perfect. Well, if you guys ever have a question for me, all you have to do is tweet the hashtag Critical Podcast. You can tweet at our formal account, which is @GoCritical. That's capital G or capital C. Or you can tweet at me personally. I'm at JimmyGood013. If you do want to tweet a question or comment at Ian, just talk to him, because honestly, and I forgot to mention this up top, one of my favorite things about Ian is that the guy is so responsive. He takes the time and he will reach back out to you and he will talk to you. There's a lot of people that I know who are horrible with that, and he is one of the best in the biz. And I'm this is coming from someone who's like immediately answering things too. So if you ever have,
I try.
You do really well.
It gets tough sometimes, but like over the next 2 weeks, like
don't do it.
I'm not talking about anything because like it was 16-hour days. But yeah,
and if they want to tweet you, where would they tweet?
Just at Ian Hinck, IANHINCK.
Okay, very good. I want to thank a few people. I want to thank This Is Dale for our intro and outro music. And I want to thank the one and only Yoren Evers, the guy who does pretty much all the art you see here on the channel. And actually, Yoren is working on a comic right now. And he has a blurb that he wants me to read you right now. This is about the comic. When David opens a mysterious box that transforms his arm into an alien weapon, he at first uses it for good to right the wrongs of his high school. But as more of his body is transformed, he finds that playing God comes with its own set of new, self-destructive perils. He said, at its core, it's like Venom meets Chronicle, which I like both of those things.
That sounds cool.
So, yeah, it's really good. Yoren's, he's fantastic. I love his work. And if you want to get some of his stuff, because he's not doing commissions right now while he does that, if you want to support him, support us at the same time, you should check out patreon.com/criticalreviews, where you can get your beautiful face on one of our Legionnaire avatars. And at certain tiers, you get different weapons. And at $75 tier, you can pick all that stuff, and you can pick every weapon, every last accoutrement, as they say. But if you want to support anyone this week, seriously consider supporting Easy Allies over their Patreon. I am a patron. I've been a patron for a long time, and I really love their stuff. I listen to it all the time. I listen to and I watch pretty much everything, even if I don't understand it. Like this last Easy update, didn't understand. I still watch it.
What's not to understand? I don't get it.
That's true. Now that you now that you say that, makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you guys want to check them out, patreon.com/Easy Allies. You can throw them $1. You can throw them any amount, but they will be hanging out covering E3 just like we are. But they are great. They inspired us, and it's just an honor to have you on the show, Ian. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, obviously, support Critical Reviews.
Oh, well, only if you want. But the biggest thing right now, everyone just keep tweeting at them, because eventually I will be on a 5-hour frame trap. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to.
They're getting there.
Yeah, it is like getting closer. It's like to 4, and then it's just like we'll just breach it, and then one day Brandon will be like, it's like a 12-hour show. It's like they just came in at like 7 in the morning, and they were just here.
Yeah, just constant. It's just always frame trap.
Yeah, but you guys should definitely check out Easy Update, which is the show that Ian hosts, it can be anything, honestly. One of my favorite things was your whirlwind trip of Kauai, which just went around showing a bunch of stuff off. It was very cool. So
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I believe that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Please give us any feedback that you have. We appreciate you. We love you. And just remember to adapt and overcome. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.